Hello, Godly Seers. Happy Sunday. It's Godly here. Happy to have you back here. Sorry I didn't get to record last weekend. I was away doing something and I totally, forgot to come here and record. It's very important for me to remain consistent. But I remembered something I wanted to talk about last time. It's a testimony, something that I've wanted to share for a while now. And that is to remind people that there is such a thing as backfire from the enemy. For everything, every good thing that happens to us, sometimes when you have a major breakthrough, it is really important for us to pray, and seal our testimonies, our amazing things that God has done for us in the mighty blood of Jesus Christ. Cover it, because sometimes the enemy will come knocking, or he will want to basically do something where all hell breaks loose because you gained one good thing in your life. Is trying to do something that almost erases the good testimony or takes you back to square one. Like 1 minute you're giving a testimony, praise the Lord, this wonderful things happened to me. The next minute you're back crying, oh please pray for me, something else has gone wrong. So those pieces of backfire for us, we had one of the worst encounters of our lives. Me and my husband got married, but we hadn't been staying together. We were living in different locations. And then the day we decided to start a family together, start living together under one roof, we had two terrible things happen to us. And it just reminds me that sometimes the enemy will let you have a taste of what you say you want, or what you've been praying for, or where you think you want to go ahead in life. Like, for example, I know people that want to travel the world or make a step to travel somewhere. They've never traveled anywhere. They decide to get a passport. But sometimes the enemy is just there in the background mocking, saying, okay, you want to travel, I'll do everything to stop those plans. Kid yourself what you want. You can have a passport. But as far as I'm concerned, it will be just like a journal book, like any other notebook you keep around. You never use it for the purpose for which it was created to be used for, which is travel. You can lie to yourself what you want. In our case here, you can be in a marriage. You have gone this far, but I'll try and prevent the next bit, which is you being together with your husband, living together and running a marriage the way it should be. So what ended up happening, I went to pick my husband from the airport, and on my way driving over to meet him, I noticed my car was going a lot slower than usual. Something was wrong with it, but I couldn't put my hand on what exactly was the issue. So we got there, I picked him up, and on our way back, the car, started slowing even, down a lot faster than before. Of course, we started smelling something. I knew it must be that, okay, I think it sounds like a signal that the clutch is on its way out. So I quickly pulled over to the side of the road, the closest that we could get to, because the car couldn't go anymore. But luckily, by the grace of God, we managed to pull it over to the side of the road somewhere on a very, very fast road. I'd been driving that car, as you can imagine, in my job. Sometimes I have to travel different places. I'd been traveling that week, going to drop off my clients or meet them in different places out of the city where I live. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the car. The car was perfect. But on the day that I'm collecting my husband from the airport, the car breaks down. Luckily for us, we managed to get to the side of the road, sat in there, called the breakdown cover to come and pick us up. And then after we called the breakdown, we noticed that every 10 minutes, the breakdown people will call us like, hello, are you guys okay? Are you alive? Are you safe? Are you all right? We're like, yeah. After a while, it became annoying. We're like, why do they keep calling us? Like there's something wrong. They didn't explain what they were doing, but they kept ringing us every 10 minutes. Sometimes before the 10 minutes, we see they were like, yeah, this phone is going to ring again. We're just trying to chill. The phone is constantly ringing. These guys checking on us, checking if the breakdown cover has arrived yet. We didn't know. We didn't ask any questions. A few minutes later, maybe about half an hour later, the breakdown recovery car comes. To this guy's shock, me and my husband are chilling, sat in the car. It was drizzling a bit. We're like, oh, it's cold outside. It was September time. We can't be bothered with, stepping outside. Let's just chill in here. This guy went mad. Was like, what are you guys doing sitting in this car? Do you realize how dangerous this sport is? People have died in that particular sport. It's a very fast road. Sometimes the trucks were passing by and the car would shake. Like some of them, you see them almost swaying from the road, almost coming into where we were because it was dark. It was nighttime. The lighting in that place is not, that very. So some of the trucks probably they didn't even realize that there's a breakdown car on the what should be like a hard shoulder, but it's not like a proper hard shoulder. And then they sweep back into the main road and go off. So the guy was like, "Get out!" We jumped out of the car. Went. He's like, "Go step far away from the car. You shouldn't have been in this car. You could lose your life." Like cars have come and bumped into people's cars on that little thingy and killed the people sitting in the car. So you should never have been sitting in this car. So we were standing. He's like, "Don't even stand next to it. This is how dangerous it is." So after he quickly got the car onto his truck, he didn't tie it up properly. He said he can't fasten it because that's how dangerous the spot where we stopped is. He's not able to do what he's supposed to do, but he's going to drive over to the nearby stop and be able to fasten the car properly. He quickly got the car onto his truck. He's like, "Okay, jump in." We jumped in. He drove to the next, I think it was a petrol station or something. He got out and properly fastened the car. Then now when we got back in the car, he's the one that told us that, "Oh, do you know what, guys? I was sent out on a different job. Within a few minutes, I got a call to say, stop what you're doing. Go back and pick up these people that are breaking down at such and such a place because they know how dangerous that place is." And it was their responsibility to keep checking on us in case something happened to us. I guess it will come back to the breakdown cover people to know, did you know these people are stopping this place? It's such a dangerous place. You're supposed to check the condition in which they are. I think at some point they were thinking they will pick up the phone to ring and there's no answer, and then they will know something has happened to us. That's how bad the situation was. So the guy was like, "So for me to find you sitting in that car, I was horrified. I had to leave a job to quickly come and get you out of that place as soon as possible, as fast as possible. So you never ever do what you did." We're like, "Oh, okay, thank God we've survived it." The guy brought us up. He took us he brought us all the way back. We broke down in Manchester. He drove us back to Stoke-on-Trent. We had him park our car at the family mechanic. And then we made our way back home. So as you can imagine, it's late. It's around about 11 o'clock at night. We got home. We're really tired. My husband has been traveling. He's really, really tired. We got home, obviously freshened up. And then by around 1, maybe 12, we decided to go to bed. I think about 2 to 3 hours into our sleep, we've just escaped one bit of, death. We're now fast asleep, and then all of a sudden, I start to hear something that sounds like rain. It's raining. I was like, "Babe, can you hear that noise?" He's like, "Yeah, I think it's raining." We're like, "Yeah, it's rain. Let's just go back." We went back to sleep. And then a few minutes later, I'm like, no. I hear almost like a voice telling me, "No, this is not rain. Rain does not sound like this." We had an explosion, so we had something exploding. So I jumped out of bed. I was like, surely, what kind of rain is this? This is really serious. It's getting more intense. So I opened the window. I opened the curtain and the blind in our bedroom to see what kind of rain is this. And all of a sudden, I saw a fire, right under our bedroom window. The fire was so high up, almost touching the roof. And I thought, oh, probably someone is burning paper. How some people may be trying to get rid of paperwork that they don't use anymore. But I'm like, what time is this? It's like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Why would someone be burning paper? What amount of paper puts up a fire this intense? It's right on our bedroom window like that. And the heat, at that point I could hear the heat. I was like, this is I don't see anyone outside. I just see this fire going, past our window. So I quickly ran up to the main door. I got up the stairs, got to the main door. There was a girl there, young adult. She was standing there. I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" She's like, "Oh, the building's on fire." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "I've just seen a car stopping past the property." When I came out, she said when she first saw the car, the fire, she just saw a car, someone getting into the car, and the car driving really fast past our property and, you know, taking off. There's nobody outside, so we both put our heads through the main door to look, and oh my God, can you imagine our entire building from our house onwards? The entire building at this point had burnt down about 75 to 80%. The explosion we had was the window right next to our bedroom exploding by fire. The fire burnt it down, exploded on the inside. The entire door frame on the outside had been burnt off. So the fire at that point, it had already gotten to the roof. It burnt the building the other side, which is quite interesting because when you look at, so to cut the whole long story short, our building was petrol bombed by somebody. To this day, we've not had the outcome of the investigation. We don't know who would want to petrol bomb a building. We don't know whether they were beefing with somebody. It was just an attack that probably we'll never get to the bottom of. So they petrol bombed our bin. So the bins, and you know, they are plastic. That was started the fire that burnt the building down. But to the grace of God, I don't know how the fire burnt going the opposite direction first. Burnt the opposite direction to our own house severely. When I say severely, like when we got up within those seconds and looked at the intensity of this fire, you would not think that anybody can walk out of there alive. It was so bad. When you look at the videos, when you look at the footage, we were screaming, like we zoomed out like for like 2 minutes. We're like, oh my God, the entire world is sleeping. There's no police, there's no fire brigade, there's nothing. The building's about to kill people, burn them to pieces. Nobody's aware. Everyone is fast asleep. So like, oh my goodness, we got out. I had I had the top on. I had nothing underneath me. Like there's no clothes at the bottom. I'm in my, like, barefooted. My husband, I don't know what he had on, and we got outside. We were so confused. Like, where's our phones? Call the police or call the ambulance. Like, what do we call them with? Because we just ran out like that. So my husband ran back into the house to grab the phones. But this girl at that point, she had managed to ring the police and ring the ambulance. Within seconds of us going outside, the first fire truck arrived. It took about 5 full fire trucks to try and put the fire down. They had a crane taking off the entire roof. Like they were taking off, they were ripping the roof apart to stop the fire from spreading. I remember in one of the videos, one of the clips, I'm screaming and I'm praying to God. I'm like, I'm telling the what do you call it? The fireman. It was an older guy like that. He was pulling the pipe slowly. I was like, please hurry up. I'm begging you, hurry up. The fire was just a few seconds from getting to our own building. You could see it's making its way. I'm like, if this guy wastes a few more minutes, the fire is breaking down into our, because it had burnt the entire place. And it's just making its way into our business. Please, please, please. It sounds selfish, but I was like, okay, if you can save anything, at least save this side of the building. I was crying out to God, like, hurry up, hurry up. At that point, it was just one guy. So, you know, he started putting the fire out, but it was as if he's doing nothing. It was like, it was nothing. It was just not enough. The other trucks arrived. We had about 6 police cars, about 6 ambulances. The entire road was shut down. The news, the incident was in the news. It was broadcasted in the news. It was a terrible, terrible night. And to think that we are the first people that saw the fire and started crying out, like trying to knock on the doors of our neighbors to say, please guys, the house is, the building is burning down, come out. That's the day we also found out that some people can sleep. You know, when you want to kick someone's door and the person is fast asleep, snoring off, they can't hear you. I think it took the police sometimes. I don't even know if they had to break down some people's doors to pull them out. Some people were just snoring off. They couldn't hear nothing. So anyways, by the grace of God, we were able to escape. Like, that's the enemy trying to kill us twice in the same night within a space of just a few hours. The first attempt didn't work. He tried something else. Like, okay, since I didn't manage to kill them by accident on the road, I'll set their property on fire. When we first shoot out of the building, and my husband ran back inside the house to get our phones or grab whatever he can grab. I was like, it's been a few minutes, he's not come back out. I was like, I hope I've not killed my own husband in the fire. I ran back to find out what's taking him so long. By the time I got to the door, he was like, babe, I can't see the phones. He had taken a bit longer because he's trying to find where everything is. Within those few seconds of us rushing out, the smoke had entered our property to the point that all you see is pitch black. You can't see anything. We ran into the house. We were choking. We were trying to speak. We're like, okay, we can't save anything out of here. Let's just grab whatever we can. We had a big, what do you call it? Big Coca-Cola bottle where we were throwing cash in it. It had thousands of pounds in it. We were trying to do a saving challenge. We had to wrap it round. We were moving the entire night. We were walking around with this thing. We're like, okay, the building is burning down. Let it not burn down with our cash, because it was a good challenge for us. But then it's a stupid thing, because we're like, okay, why are you not putting that money in the bank? Why are you saving it in your own house? We're just throwing it in. Thousands of pounds. We're like, okay, if the building burns down, the money get to burn with it. We're like, nope, we're dragging it. You wouldn't know that it's money in there. We're just dragging it everywhere. Listen, the suffering we suffered that night. Winter, cold, raining all night. We would stand outside. They opened the building next door and asked us to stand in their hallway. We had people interviewing us the entire night. Did you see anything? Do you have any family to go to? Did you they were just asking us questions, roll calling every minute. Is there any member of your family that stayed inside? We had the police now taking over the whole building. They had, wrapped it all, taped all around it. It's a crime scene. They're doing their own investigations. They're removing some people in the back in the building. They have to use the crane and break down the back windows to pull people out. I remember this old woman. She's been our neighbor for years. She was here when I first came to the building. When you look at when I'm telling you fire, that the entire doorway is covered with fire, you can't come out of that place, and you don't even know what's happening on the inside, because all you can see is black things falling down. This old woman came walking past, through that fire to come at us. Like, what? This entire time, this woman is in there. So anyways, it was terrible. It was terrible. We spent, we had the Red Cross here, all the charities you can think about coming in to give us aid. They gave me the pants to put, my bottom side, because sometimes some people sleep naked. If there's a fire, my friend, try and put some clothes on yourself before you go to bed, because you're gonna end up running out naked. For me, they had to give me, I call them my big mama pants. To this day, I look at them and I'm like, oh my goodness, those pants saved my life, saved my legs that day. They were given to me by the Red Cross. They were giving us underwear. They were giving us, toothbrush, different things, supplying us with food, warm drinks. Me, we were just, it was just bad. And that night as well, you see the value of some of the friendships that you have, because I was thinking there, I'm like, okay, who do I call? I picked up and called my friend Cindy. I'm like, oh, she's like, Godly, why are you calling me in the middle of the night? I think I called around about 3 a.m. She's like, I think I'm even surprised that she picked her phone. What's wrong with you? Why are you calling me this time of the night? I'm like, look, our building is on fire. She's like, what? What did you just say? I'm like, yeah, our building is on fire. Please. She's like, okay, zoomed out, came, made us some food, made us some drinks, brought us some blankets, whatever we need. She's like, oh, do you want to come and sleep? We're like, well, we're not allowed to leave. We all have to sit there. They keep asking questions. They keep wanting to know what's going on, wanting to update us. In the end, they went and kept us in a school. They were looking after us until round about later on in the day, when they managed to put out the fire. But then they had to do an assessment on the fire damage on the entire building. They took over the keys. The property was open for a while. They came in and did all assessments, and then they came to give us the final news. Guys, can you believe my neighbors on the opposite side that these people were here when I first moved into the property? A lot of them will never come home again. They were told, look, all the flats on that side up until ours, I think about from number 1 to around 11 properties, they were all gone. They were all burnt down to a point that they cannot be used again. Like they have to be rebuilt, they have to be reconstructed. They were like, look guys, we're gonna have to, took them to hotels. Some of them were asked whether they have family members, all their belongings burnt down. They were not allowed to go back and check anything. Imagine, memories, family albums and stuff, everything burnt down. They were not allowed into the buildings again. They sealed the entire place off for renovations. So we were given the permission to return to our own flats, like right from ours going to the other end. And I was like, I'm gonna make the kind of smoke we saw in that house we came in. And can you imagine our place, right from the roof all the way, you wouldn't even find a trace of a fire damage, like smoke damage. Our walls are predominantly white. All our walls were white, exactly how they were. The main thing we suffered was the smoke, the smell. I'd walk to work for a long while, and people were like, what's that? Like, you're smelling like a roast or something. Yeah, the smell penetrated into all our belongings, clothes and stuff. We're walking around stinking like a burnt something. But after a while, after months, that smell disappeared. But most of the time when we're coming home, you're smelling a strong smell of a burnt something, because obviously the entire building right next to us is burnt down to black, like pitch black. It was so bad. Like we were living in almost a cloud of darkness throughout those days. I'll see people coming in taxis to pick someone, or anybody that passes. They have to stop and say, oh my God, what happened here? You have to wonder if people died in the building because it was that bad. But to think that we had a very narrow escape. To God be the glory. I want to thank God, because let me tell you, sometimes the enemy will come, will gather himself with everything in his store to come for you, to come after you. But God will save your life. God will fight for you. God will preserve your life. God will make sure that no weapon that is formed against you can prosper. I want to give God the glory, because for us, God delivered us from so many questions. I don't know, had we died in the fire, would that be me that would have died, or my husband, or the both of us? Can you imagine whoever is left to have to answer things that you don't even know what to tell people? But glory to God that he, delivered us from death, from the spirit of death, that very night, twice in a row, twice in one night, just hours apart. So it's a story that we never even bother to tell. Some of our family members don't even know that this happened to us, because we're like, okay, what are the chances? The very first day that we spend the night together as a married couple, that we come together to say, okay, now we're living together, something, a tragedy like that happened to us. But I thank God for preserving our lives, for preserving our property, and for making sure that despite all our members, some of our neighbors never make it back home or were able to save any of their belongings, the Lord preserved everything that belonged to us. To God be the glory. So I want to thank God, and I want to also encourage somebody that every time God does something good to you and something good happens to you, make sure you pray over it. Seal your testimony in the blood of Jesus Christ. Seal your breakthrough and protect it from every backfiring spirits. We didn't know this was going to happen to us, but that's what happened. But we thank God that it ended in praise and that He was able to preserve our lives. So I'll see if I can put some clips of the fire of what happened, or maybe some photos or whatever. If I can add them, I'll add them so you can see. So anyway, until next time, may the Lord keep and preserve you. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.